Tim Burton's 1988 masterpiece, Beetlejuice, is a whimsical yet macabre exploration of life, death, and the in-between. A central figure in this chaotic dance of the living and the dead is Beetlejuice himself, a bio-exorcist with a penchant for mayhem. But beyond the outrageous costumes and slapstick humor, Beetlejuice embodies a deeper thematic thread. The disruptive force of chaos in the face of rigidly defined societal norms. Beetlejuice's appearance is a carnival of contradictions. His striped suit and manicured nails clash with his decaying flesh and grotesque bug-like features. He thrives in the underworld, a realm of sandworms and shrunken heads, a place devoid of order and control. This visual language establishes Beetlejuice as an outsider, a being who revels in the grotesque and finds amusement in the structured routines of the afterlife. His actions throughout the film further emphasize his role as a chaotic force. When summoned by Lydia Dietz, the ostracized teenager, Beetlejuice unleashes a whirlwind of bio-exorcism attempts, each a bizarre and destructive performance. He possesses a seemingly endless bag of tricks, each defying the established order of the afterlife. This chaos serves as a stark contrast to the bland normalcy of the Dietzes, the new inhabitants of the Maitlands' home, and the rigid rules of the afterlife bureaucracy. However, Beetlejuice's chaos is not entirely without purpose. It throws the characters, both living and dead, into situations that force them to confront their desires and anxieties. The Maitlands, initially focused on scaring away the Dietzes, realized the importance of moving on from their earthly attachments. Lydia, yearning for connection, finds solace in the companionship of the ghosts and ultimately becomes a bridge between the two worlds. In this sense, Beetlejuice becomes a catalyst for change. His disruptive presence shakes things up, forcing the characters to re-evaluate their understanding of normalcy and the afterlife itself. He represents the repressed desires lurking beneath the surface, the ID unleashed against the constraints of the superego. Beetlejuice thrives on the juxtaposition of the ordinary and the bizarre. Central to this dynamic is Lydia Dietz, a young girl whose morbid fascination and outsider status propel the narrative forward. More than just a goth stereotype, Lydia embodies the complexities of adolescence, alienation, and the yearning for connection. From the outset, Lydia is established as an outcast. Clad in black amidst a world of pastel teddies, she finds solace in Edgar Allan Poe and the macabre. The dusty attic, her haven, reflects her isolation and her desire for something beyond the mundane. Her internal monologue, delivered in a dry, dramatic voice, reveals her loneliness and the feeling of being misunderstood by her parents. Lydia's fascination with death is not simply a teenage rebellion. It represents a yearning for a world with more depth and meaning than the one she inhabits. She craves connection, evidenced by her excitement at the prospect of ghosts in the attic. The handbook for the recently deceased becomes a bridge, a gateway to a world where she might finally find something or someone to understand her. When Lydia summons Beetlejuice, the chaotic bio-exorcist, it's not simply a mischievous prank. It's a desperate attempt to find a friend, a confidant, or perhaps even a family. Beetlejuice, despite his crassness, becomes a mirror to Lydia's own darkness. Through their interactions, she learns the importance of balance and the power of connection with the living. Ultimately, Lydia's journey is one of self-discovery. She learns to embrace her individuality while finding a way to connect with the world around her. The climax, where she stands up to the meddling Delia Dietz, showcases her newfound strength and confidence. By the film's end, Lydia chooses to remain in the house with the Maitlands, the friendly ghosts she befriended, symbolizing her acceptance of the dead and the living coexisting. Lydia Dietz is more than just a goth icon. She is a relatable portrayal of a young person grappling with alienation, grief, and the search for belonging. Through her dark humor and macabre fascination, she reminds us that the strange and unusual can be a powerful force for change and connection. Where the recently deceased Maitlands find themselves sharing their beloved home with the obnoxious Dietz family. While the film revels in the macabre and the chaotic, the Maitlands, Adam and Barbara, stand out as a beacon of civility and normalcy, even in death. We will analyze the Maitlands' characters, exploring how their unique personalities and approach to the afterlife contribute to the film's narrative and humor. The Maitlands are first introduced as a charming and affectionate couple, still deeply in love even in their ghostly state. Their initial concern is not scaring away the Dietzes, but rather coexisting peacefully. They yearn to return to their routines, attempting to maintain a semblance of their previous life. This desire for normalcy, coupled with their inherent kindness, makes them endearing characters despite their predicament. Their attempts to scare the Dietzes are hilariously ineffective, often descending into slapstick comedy. Their bumbling efforts highlight the absurdity of the situation and provide a stark contrast to the grotesque antics of Beetlejuice. Despite their predicament, the Maitlands retain their optimism and sense of humor. They are surprisingly accepting of their situation, readily adapting to their ghostly limitations. Their playful banter and genuine affection for each other create a sense of warmth within the chaotic narrative. They act as a foil to the dysfunctional Dietzes, showcasing the importance of love, respect, and a sense of humor, even in the face of death. The Maitlands' interactions with Lydia reveal another interesting dimension to their characters. They recognize her loneliness and alienation, offering her a sense of belonging and acceptance that she craves. They act as surrogate parents, providing her with guidance and understanding. This relationship adds a layer of emotional depth to the film, reminding us of the enduring power of human connection. The Maitlands, in their unassuming way, serve a crucial narrative function. Their desire to reclaim their home drives the plot forward, leading them to the desperate act of summoning Beetlejuice. Their interactions with the bio-exorcist further highlight their limitations and the chaotic consequences of disrupting the natural order of the afterlife. Ultimately, the Maitlands learn to accept their fate, finding a sense of peace within the confines of their haunted home. In conclusion, the Maitlands in Beetlejuice are more than just endearing ghosts. They represent a sense of normalcy and civility in a world gone mad. Their kindness, humor, and unwavering love for each other provide a counterpoint to the film's dark humor and macabre themes. By showcasing the power of love and acceptance, even in death, the Maitlands leave a lasting impression on the audience. Ultimately, Beetlejuice is banished, not because of his chaos, but because his methods are too destructive. The film suggests that while change is necessary, there must be a balance. The Maitlands and Lydia find a way to coexist with the Dietzes, carving out a new sense of normalcy that embraces both the living and the dead, the mundane and the macabre. Beetlejuice, then, becomes a symbol of the constant struggle between order and chaos. He is a reminder that while structure is necessary for a functioning society, a dash of chaos can be the impetus for growth and change. In the wacky world of Beetlejuice, it is the disruptive bio-exorcist with a penchant for sandworms who ultimately helps the characters find their own unique happily ever after. We can glean much from the visually striking and bizarre film. Though on the surface it appears to be a film based on comedy and shock value, filled with nostalgic antics and memorable scenes, Beetlejuice speaks to our deepest fears and concerns. Is there an afterlife? And if so, does it make this life more or less consequential? Should we obsess with what comes next, or live deeply in the moment at hand? Are material things worth seeking? Or does anything besides the people we love really matter at all? Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Randoda.